the easy thing, and I think I think it will be thrown out there that Liverpool are starting to bottle it. I think that's just too easy to say. I think what we have here is a team and it is only early February. There is a lot of games to come. Like most teams, they have injuries. I don't think there's anything to do with bottling it at the moment. They're going through a patch where some of the players and the boys, and Mark talked about it, they're just not quite playing with the same confidence, and the little flicks and 1-2s and quick passing, it's falling down at the last minute. It's just not quite coming off, and they're going to have to fight through this period. And listen, I don't remember anybody ever saying this was going to be easy. Even when Liverpool had a bigger gap than they've got now, it's never going to be easy to get over the line. So it's just about putting the last couple of games in particular behind them and moving on and trying to get some confidence back in the team.
I think that's where Jurgen Klopp comes in here. No, it's not a case of bottling it. Certainly not right now, as you mentioned. Manchester City had a similar spell through the middle of December. But this is maybe where lack of experience comes in. And with this Liverpool team not having won it, and how you manage this lean spell. Everybody has them in every single season, regardless of where you finish. But now, given the history, getting this far or this close for Liverpool and not having won it, how does the pressure tell? And I know Mark spoke about this some weeks gone by. Certainly at Anfield, do the crowd also play a part in kind of ramping up that pressure?
Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino, especially Firmino today, as soon as he came off, you were basically like, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he hasn't. And I think that's down to two things. One is him personally. In recent games, he's given the ball away so much more than he ever did before. And again, he's not getting any help from anybody else. And then you throw in the fact that, teams like West Ham are sitting, 35 yards from a goal. There's not a lot of space. And when your touch is off, your game's not at its best, then you're going to lose the ball. And Firmino especially has been doing that.
You guys have each, I think, mentioned it individually. I don't know that we've hit it hard enough based on the match we saw. The set-piece defending from Liverpool. I mean, every single West Ham set piece was a near goal. Stevie, how worried are you about that?
I would love to know who decides where the line starts. Is it the coaching staff? Is it Virgil van Dijk? I would love to know, because it was suicide. I mean, it's really suicide. You're basically telling the opposition, and today it was West Ham, that there's a great big hole for you, stick the ball in there, and we're going to have a problem dealing with it. And they did it. They took advantage of it.
At times it wasn't even just a case of a big hole or just these set pieces. There's one corner where Diop is up against Keita, which is ridiculous from a set piece perspective and a man-to-man perspective. You go into, and which is why I hate this zone. You go into a zone, everybody's responsible for it. If you've got somebody like Issa Diop on your side, you just go and plant yourself alongside Naby Keita, and he should have scored. It was another fluff chance that Liverpool should have been ruining.
No surprise then, today's result had an effect on the Premier League title odds. Now, Manchester City, according to the bookmakers, have the slightest of edge when it comes to winning the title. Shaka, you surprised? Just off one result, seemingly finally City is back as the favorite.
No, I don't think it's just off one result. I think it's off a combination of things. It's more than just one for Liverpool. I know City had their disappointment last weekend, but when you think of City, when you think the likes of Kevin De Bruyne coming back, okay, wasn't maybe back to his best this weekend, but that, I think, gives City a huge boost. As long as you keep Kun Aguero fit, you just don't see them slowing down. I mentioned their spell in December. Outside of that is only the surprise loss to Newcastle. Klopp talking about they aren't going to prioritise in Europe or the league. With the Champions League restarting, you just have to start to question Liverpool.
Guys, what do you think? You agree with the bookmakers? City now the favourite?
I'd rather have the 3 points.
Exactly.
To be honest. But
if you're slipping up and drawn, as opposed to slipping up and losing, that's a big difference. Huge difference. And the fact that Liverpool have got the points, I'm 100% with Craig. I would rather have the points all day long. And this Man City team is not the team that we spoke about last year, who we thought just weren't going to slip up, had no faults, nobody could get at them. That's not the Man City we're talking about. So Liverpool with the points, absolutely favourite.
Take a look at that upcoming schedule for Liverpool. Pretty daunting. I mean, the Champions League against Munich are going to be difficult. Let's bring in Mark Ogden then. Mark, just some final thoughts then on what you saw today.
I just felt that, I think Craig said earlier on that this talk of Liverpool bottling it's a bit premature, and I do think it is. I just think that tonight they came up against a team that had lost badly in their last game, and they had to put a performance out, and the West Ham did that. Liverpool are just having a bit of a dip. They're not bottling it, they're not choking, it's just a bit of a dip, and the key players are missing. I just think it was one of those nights, and they're not going to win every game in a title run, and it's impossible. There are going to be nights like this where the home team gets a result, could have won the game. And I think, like the guys say, they've got a 3-point lead, and City have got to play Everton away and Chelsea at home this week. And they're 2 tough games in any title season. Liverpool got Bournemouth at home. So for me, I think Liverpool are still the favourites. I do think City have got the experience, but I think Liverpool are the favourites because they have the 3 points. And City are not convincing enough to win every game this season. So Liverpool just have the edge. They've come out of this game tonight without losing. That is a positive for me.
Well, it was always glass half full, isn't it? You the glass half full, Stephen, today? It's
it depends.
Shouting at the TV and the.
See, during the game,
I'm
half empty. During the game, I'm half empty.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you get a point. It gets you. You go from 2 points ahead at the start of the day to 3 points. And then the glass half full.
I know Mark said Everton and Chelsea are a tough game. But I would say Everton normally would be a tough game. It doesn't look such a tough game at the moment. The way they're leaving themselves so open. You never know, maybe Marco Silva will find some sort of magic wand in the next few days. I think it's unlikely. But then the Chelsea game is obviously a huge one for them as well. And we saw, for those that watched the Arsenal game, he's quite prepared to do things differently, Pep Guardiola. He's quite prepared, whether you like it or not, to think outside the box and try and do something different. And he's got a guy up front who is banging form in Sergio Aguero.